Okay, so I built this project out of angle iron. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any rust. This is going to be in close proximity to a aquarium, so I decided to go with the Rustoleum clean metal primer since this was brand new angle iron, had no rust on it. On the can, it's twice the rust protection. Under the instructions, you paint it and it says to let it cure 48 hours. Then I've got this Rustoleum undercoating, which says it resists rust, rubberized, paintable. When I read the back of it, it says you can paint it over bare metal or primer. The instructions say recoat within 1 to 2 minutes and let air dry for an hour. So my experience with this, I have painted for years. I'm an old guy. I keep cans of, these rattle cans of spray paint around. I'm always painting objects, and most of the time I would just get the cheap stuff or whatever. Sometimes I have Rustoleum. I'll look through my bin. But this is a nice project. I've got some $1,000 lights I'm going to be hanging on this bracket. So I really wanted it to look nice. That's why I try to take this extra step. So when I paint it with the primer here, one thing I noticed right off the bat, this stuff was, even after I was shaking it, ball rattling for several minutes, I sprayed it. It would go on nice, smooth, slick finish, but you had to be super, super careful because that stuff wanted to run. I've never had a primer that wanted to run that much. So I don't know if that was the issue, is the primer is bad. But we've sprayed it on there. I let it dry for 48 hours. After 48 hours, I came back. I put this undercoating spray on. Now, when I first sprayed it on, the finish looked fantastic. When you spray this on, it gives a nice little textured finish. It had a beautiful finish. But I let this stuff dry, and what was once a beautiful finish, first, I'm going to put it back here, see if it shows up on the camera. See, like these cracking. Now, I went back a day later and has sprayed a second coat on this, and you can see up around the hole, it's like the paint. Now this is, the primer is white, so that brown, I don't know if that's rust, and then you can see this texture just looks like, it looks a lot better on film than in real life. It just really looks horrible. There's some spots like right here. I mean, that just looks plumb nasty. When it was wet, looked beautiful. You can see right there where I stuck my fingernail in it. Now on the back here, after the first coat, I got this all over. So I'm not for sure if that's the primer showing through or some sort of rust. And now this has been curing for over 2 days now, and I run my fingernail through it, and it just, it is 8:36 in the morning right now. I'm in my shop. There's a thing, so it's right at 70 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning. The primer, it said don't spray under 57 degrees. During the day, we're down here in Florida, it's 80 something degrees in my shop here. This is all inside. None of this has been outside. And, so this is just, I mean, I have never had something that came out so bad. Whenever you get this focus there. Oh, the camera's having a hard time focusing. But that just looks horrible. So I don't know what's going on back here in the corner again. Again, I have sprayed hundreds of cans of spray paint, and I don't know if it's a combination of the two, of this clean metal primer and the undercoating, but the undercoating actually says can be sprayed over primer. And in my experience, you know, you can usually take a rattle can and spray bare metal. It's okay, but I've done that before on some brackets that were close to the saltwater aquariums, and then after a couple years they start getting a little rust, you know, penetrating through the paint, you know, because that salt moisture will penetrate through the paint and start rusting a little bit. And so I wanted to ensure that that didn't happen. So if somebody can tell me what's going on here, what I did wrong, please comment, give me a heads up. The only thing I know to do now is to go and sandblast this frame, and then completely start over with a different product. So look forward to hearing some comments. Let me know what's going on, if you know what you think happened here. Thanks a lot.